Hello and welcome to First Impressions. This is a show where every week my co host Ash Hooper and I evaluate a new album that we've never heard before. And after playing it, we take notes, rate it in a variety of categories, and let you know our thoughts. And the album we're looking at tonight is Stranger's Almanac by at Whiskeytown, a 1997 album. So, Dash, how's it going tonight?
It is good. It's good to be back. We were off for a while.
Yeah, we both had our holiday commitments with the kids last week. So now we're
Yeah.
back. And yeah, hopefully we'll see. We'll see where we stand because we talked a little bit backstage, but they are here, the Balcony
Yeah.
Muppets. And then
Yeah.
next to them, he's harder to see, but the
The
Mego,
Marigoat.
the Mego hangs out there as well.
You can see my or right. You can see him right there. The Marigoat.
Yes, nice. He always belongs somewhere. All right. So we're going to be digging into something that for me was brand new. I mean, when
Oh
you
yeah.
when you suggested this one, I was thinking, all right, I don't even know the name. And as soon as when I was researching it, I found out a little bit more about it, little things, just okay, like Ryan Adams, for example. I knew his name, but beyond that, that was about all I could have told you. So
This is definitely like brand new to me as well. Like I have never heard any songs by him.
mhm.
Anything. This is brand new.
Yes. So that's good. We both come in fully blind on this one, which is always fun to go in when you know nothing about an artist or anything else. So, we're going to be starting like always with the history of the artist. So, Whiskeytown was formed in 1994 in Raleigh, North Carolina, and they actually all emerged from the alternative and punk scene. So, when they were first forming, they weren't they weren't originally as country artists. So
Mhm.
Ryan Adams was one of the original founders, and he was in a punk band when he decided to form this band and thought he would rather have done something in more traditional country or folk instead of continuing in the punk scene. So he recruited Phil Wancher, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that's right, Caitlin Carey, Skillet Gilmore, and Steve Terry to start this band. And most of them actually came more from the punk and alternative scene. And that's what kind of filtered their live performances. So sometimes they got really punk rock, especially Ryan Adams. He got really like he would just thrash his guitars in the middle of a set, walk off stage, and that's what kind of got them a reputation as either amazing or completely a mess. So he was influenced by artists like Graham Parsons, The Replacements, Hank Williams, and they started by playing house shows. They played in like a sports book. I think that was one of the ones where he melted down the most. I was listening to some podcasts with their manager at the time, and he said, yeah, they like 10 to 15% of their shows were life-changingly good. 60% were kind of just okay, and then there was the rest of the percent that were just god awful.
Awful. Yeah.
So yeah, they you didn't know what you were going to get. Some people could see them and it was just, this was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And the other ones, were either them, the band phoning it in, and this is their manager saying it straight out. Like, okay, some performances you could see they were just, it was a paint by numbers
Yeah.
set. And even though with that live performance, they still started to get a lot of buzz throughout the North Carolina scene. And Ryan Adams as a frontman especially was what people would notice because he would be the one that would melt down the most and just start, wrecking an expensive guitar, even though they didn't have a lot of money to wreck a guitar. And they worked and ended up recording their first album in 1995. And it was, I've never heard it. This is as far as it goes when we get to our background. I don't know any of their other material. I think when I finished this album, Spotify would always start playing one from the early or the late album, but that's about what I know. But the 1995 album Faithless Street was released on Mood Food Records. So a true indie record. The second
Right.
one of those, it's, even though it's technically indie, it's, an affiliate of one of the major labels. And it was raw, it was sloppy, and this was kind of directly capturing what people saw when they saw those live shows. And it also started to get attention in the alt country movement. And I think it was like the third album considered alt country that we've covered, I believe.
Yeah, third one.
Yeah, and I know I have a Wilco one set up for later. So yeah, we'll be talking about another. And those are kind of they're one of the bigger alt country names. So as their reputation grew, um, that got them noticed by Geffen Records. So they signed with Outpost, which is an affiliate of Geffen Records, and released the one we're going to talk about, Stranger's Almanac, which was released in 1997. And it's, of all their albums, their most acclaimed. It's the one that, if they have the diehard fans, look to as their greatest ones. I won't go too much into that, but it also began the kind of the power struggles in the band. So there were power struggles over the songwriting credit, over the direction, and also this was the time when Ryan Adams got very heavy into drinking, and that's what led to either great or terrible. And I know live bands like that, where I think about Modest Mouse. I've seen them
Yeah.
a lot of times. I've seen them be just great, and I've seen them be nearly unwatchable when they're performing. So it kind of reminds me of that. I don't know if you've seen any bands like that, where it's either going to be a brilliant performance or
Well, that would be Motley Crue.
yeah, I mean, obviously.
They're probably the only ones that I've ever seen where one time I saw them, they were fantastic, and the next time I saw them, they were just, you could tell. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say you could tell.
Yeah, and that's where Modest Mouse would lie, and a lot would depend on what venues they were playing, and their singer would just act he can get very hostile toward a crowd. And from what I've heard, Ryan Adams was similar to that. He could
Oh yeah.
get very hostile to the crowd if he felt like the crowd wasn't there
There for him.
what they were doing. He would just start berating. And I mean, seeing as I've never seen them, it's purely just based on the things that I've heard. But a lot of that, like I said, I was listening to a podcast that was interviewing the manager of the band. So I guess he's a good source. And from what he was saying, every member of the band was very behind his book and agreed with the things he said, except for Ryan Adams. But it didn't make him look entirely terrible. It just made him look like some nights he truly phoned it in. And I guess no singer wants to hear that, yeah, you were not giving it your all for this particular show. So
Yeah.
he's the only one that didn't endorse the book or, say that it was actually true. So yeah, it's, but the manager toured with them for pretty much all of their years. So he was there for every performance, and he saw the good, the bad, and the ugly. So yeah, their shows got this reputation, and the band got kind of fed up with it. So the unpredictability led them to just unravel. So they started to work on their third album, and that was Pneumonia.
Pneumonia.
And that one, the band members of the group left during the recording. It started recording in 1998, and it didn't even get released until 2001. And before the album was even finished in 1999, Whiskeytown broke up. I think Caitlin Carey was the last one to leave the band. She stuck by him through all of the craziness, and then finally they disbanded in 1999. And Ryan Adams actually started working solo stuff before even releasing the final album, Pneumonia. So at this time, he was gaining recognition as a solo artist. And I think that's probably why the label even put it out, because it was never finished by the full band, just kind of put out after the band was already done.
Yeah.
So they got a strong reputation during their time as a band. as an important band in the alt country scene, which you have Uncle Tupelo, Sunvolt, bands like that. Wilco later on becomes, the kind of the fixtures of that alt country scene. And then they kind of lump bands into it later that were earlier than the alt country scene. I think that's the two that we listened to were both predating the alt country scene, but got lumped into it later on. So yeah, they were considered during their time brilliant, creative, but just so combustible that they couldn't survive, and they never made it past those 3 albums. And even though there's probably money to be made, they've never done a reunion tour. Oh, wow. But I would have to say Ryan Adams is probably making enough. He doesn't need the reunion. It would be the rest of the band that would need it more than him. And you wonder, could they stomach, another string of shows, or are they just so sick of each other that they don't care?
Probably end up like Jane's Addiction.
Yeah, we're going to watch a fight on the stage. Caitlin's going to whack him in the head with a violin or something.
Yeah.
Like, I dealt with all your bullshit. Now you're going to do it more. It's like, you got money. Don't fuck this up for us.
Right.
And funny, speaking of Jane's Addiction, I read that Perry Farrell just sent an apology to the band and said, let's try this again. So we'll see. I mean, have they learned their lesson?
I don't know. Well, no. I mean, I don't think Dave Navarro would ever I don't think he would even entertain it anymore.
I think the last time was just the final straw. And the thing is, there's money to be made, but this is a band that played and toured in an era where you could make a lot of money on album sales. That doesn't exist so much anymore. Bands sell. There are still bands going diamond, going platinum, but it's so rare. I mean, what is it? Taylor Swift, Adele, bands like that still move units in the stores, but yeah, it's few and far between that can do that. So Jane's Addiction made money during that era. So I don't know. I don't think Dave Navarro will do it, but who knows? Maybe they'll just think, all right, we're going to give it one more try and hope that we don't end up coming to blows on stage again.
Yeah, I don't know why I just don't know why he would. Because, I mean, he can live off of the royalties from Inked.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
I mean, he's making money on that. I'm sure are they still doing seasons? I don't even know.
I don't even know if they're still doing seasons.
But it's going on streaming and everything. Yeah. So he's still getting those residual checks in the mail, and they still, they'll use Jane's Addiction songs in movies and things like that. So the band stands to keep making money. So would they? I don't know. I saw the apology actually when I was setting everything up for today. I saw it was on, the Google News, like Perry Farrell issues an apology, but that's after he countersued the band. So I don't know. I think this one definitely too little, too late.
It was probably part of the settlement. It was probably it. Real. I mean,
you could be right.
I've seen funnier things in settlements or dismissals, apologize or whatever. Yeah.
So this could be his lawyers telling him, you got to issue this apology and, saying, I want my band back together. And yeah, you had your chance because Dave Navarro didn't tour with them for several years. And they said it was because of long-term COVID, but I think it was long-term, I'm sick of Perry Farrell. So, he finally came back and they made it a couple shows and they're trying to kill each other. So I think, like you said, if maybe they'll get Steve Avery back, maybe they'll get, I don't know the drummer. So, forgive me. If you know the drummer, drop it in the comments.
If he's your best friend.
Yeah. So apologies to Jane's Addiction's drummer. But if you know him, let me know. But I think maybe those two would be more likely to come back because they weren't doing Inked and all the things like Dave Navarro was doing. And Dave Navarro also did an album with the Chili Peppers. So he's got a lot more residual money that can still come his way. Whereas the other ones, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We could both be proven wrong, and Jane's Addiction announced a large 2026 tour. And you can hope if you do go to that, hope you're on one of the first few, because I don't see that, Matt. I don't see that lasting.
Yeah.
All right. So let's dig into the history of the album as we've gone into our Jane's Addiction tangent. Speaking of, I guess when you talk about volatile singers, it's bound to come up.
It's bound to come up. Yep.
So Whiskeytown's second album, Stranger's Almanac, was released in 1997, considered their defining one, and it was following their release on Outpost, or following the Faithless Street release. They were signed to Outpost Records and brought in Jim Scott to produce the album. It was recorded over 1996 and 1997 and was considered by the critics that reviewed it to be a step up in their sound quality, a step up in their ambition. And I think that's true. Anytime a band releases a truly independent project, you can see the sloppiness, because it's rare when you get a true independent release that's produced really well, unless you get something where they get a strong producer, even though it's independent, and they probably didn't have the money to do that one at the time. So considered their creative peak. Ryan Adams was still the primary songwriter, but Caitlin Carey and Phil Wanscher were able to provide harmonies. They were able to help create that emotional balance. And even so, the sessions were reported as intense, but it was still collaborative enough that the band felt happy with the end result. It was the next album where the band would leave little by little through the recording process, which is why it got released after the fact and never completely finished. But it was more of, we got to release something. We got these songs. The record label probably thought, we spent enough damn money, let's just put it out, because Ryan Adams was actually getting a buzz as a solo artist. So it was, put it out and let's hope good things happen. So musically, the record blends rowdy bar country rock, lots of ballads, and then it has that kind of folk and roots influence. You can hear the Dylan, you can hear the Springsteen definitely in this songwriting, but you definitely hear the heartbreak. It is loaded with heartbreak and him just yearning for what he lost. You get that over and over again through these songs.
Yeah.
So it was released in April of 1997, and it got, well, I guess let's talk about that. We're moving to our next thing and talking about the reviews. So released in 1997, it got mostly good reviews. It was hard to find reviews that weren't reviewed after the fact, because they went and released one of those big deluxe editions of it later on. And that's something you get. Oh my gosh. If you remember the 2000s and their CD deluxe editions, it was so common to just release it once and then release the deluxe edition in its little slip case. And it's got live tracks and it's got B-sides and all that stuff. And I'm not going to lie, I bought a lot of them. So they were just a thing in the 90s, or the more 2000s, I would say. Kind of when CDs were moving to their last legs, the record companies were going to milk all they could out of those CDs. And it's, $30 for the deluxe edition in its little slipcase. And I think I bought all the Pavement albums that way. I bought all the Radiohead ones. I bought the Smashing Pumpkins ones. And honestly, some of them have really good stuff on them. I mean, I'm not here to, sure, they were a cash grab, but there were some really good B-sides. And I know, especially with the Radiohead ones, you would have to buy so many damn CD singles to get all those good B-sides. So it was nice to get them all in one spot. And some of those B-sides were really good. You get the bands when they were at their creative best, and even their B-sides were just phenomenally good. And then you see them start to get worse and worse and worse. And then the A-sides weren't any good, so you don't even want to touch the B-sides. Looking at you, Smashing Pumpkins, but
Fantastic.
But there was a stretch of time where I would say for Gish, for Siamese Dream, and for Melancholy, the B-sides were so damn good. They put the Pisces album out, and that's as good as any A-sides album by a lot of bands. And then you got Machina 2, and I didn't want to hear Machina 1, thank you. But now you're giving me 27 new tracks of that. I'll pass.
Nope.
But yeah, that's what happened. And it was these bands, just a lot of them, like I said, a lot of them ended up just being live tracks, and that's great. But yeah, it was a thing, and that's what we got that of this Whiskeytown album. They did do one of those deluxe reissues, and a lot of the reviews that I found were about that. So tangent. Now we'll get back to the road. So yeah, that the thing is that it was difficult to find real-time reviews. I did find Rolling Stone gave it 3 stars, which is crazy because normally we seem to
4.
be locked in at that 4 stars, but they gave it 3. They praised the songwriting, but said that it didn't have a lot of authenticity. They although they said it was kind of alt country's Nevermind, which is interesting, but still found it to have some unevenness. And then they positioned the album alongside the other alt country big guns, Uncle Tupelo, Wilco, Sunvolt, and the Jayhawks, and said that they helped define this sound. And I know Sunvolt is half of Uncle Tupelo, so you get Uncle Tupelo, and that there's a band we will probably never see a reunion of.
Yeah.
I think we got a better chance of a Jane's Addiction 2026 show above an Uncle Tupelo one.
We got a better chance of Taylor Swift going back to country music, than Uncle Tupelo. Yeah,
yeah. So there's one. The odds are slim and none, but over time the album grew in stature, and it got a lot of those really strong retro reviews. And it was a hard time. I found the Rolling Stone. They said that it was, they had high hopes, and they thought that this was a solid start. Even though it was their second album, you look at the first major label album as the beginning. Kind of like Green Day, Dookie's what people look at as the beginning, even though they had 2 albums before that. It's not a true debut, but it's, the first major label debut, and you see what the band is capable of when they have money and a full studio behind them. The Pitchfork review was the retrospective, and it was about the deluxe edition, and they gave it a 6.3 and thought that it was alternately confident and overreaching and but yet derivative. And then it had strong moments, but the band still hadn't found their voice. And they did give for their final album, Pneumonia, Pitchfork did give it a strong review, like an 8.1, which if you know Pitchfork as we do, and their Dewey Decimal, it's rare that they give any 8s. 8 is high praise for them.
I have to check out Pneumonia then, because I mean, if I was for Pitchfork, I would have probably given this. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, but this is Pitchfork when they wrote this one. I think it was in 2008. That was during their snarkiest period. They were just dicks at a point. I mean, you read some of those Pitchfork reviews, and they just were looking for ways to say we hate it and trying to be cool and hipster at the same time. So yeah, Pitchfork had a whole stretch of just being assholes to music. And that's why I don't know if you've ever read the Onion article where it's like Pitchfork gives music a 6.2.
Yeah.
So, it's so
I've
good.
read that. But yeah, I could see the Onion doing that.
Yeah, the Onion, that's when Pitchfork was at their worst. I'm like, yeah, Pitchfork rates all music as a 6.2 or something like that. And Pitchfork was able to laugh at it. And I guess they say, from what I've heard from people that I've heard on podcasts that work for Pitchfork, it's actually framed on the wall at the Pitchfork headquarters. So they can at least laugh at the joke that, yeah, there was a point in time where they were just shitty to everyone and everything. So yeah, they, let's see, the Austin Chronicle said that that he was in need of a producer's guiding hand, and that even though this had strong songs, it had some aimlessness, and then ambitious yet uneven. A lot of them looked at it as something that showed hints at major potential, but like I said, it was just really hard finding full reviews. All you could kind of see was just overview reviews. So yeah, that was one of my difficult things, was this time just finding reviews, because I think when it came out originally, there wasn't a lot of buzz. So a lot of people weren't reviewing it, even though it was a studio one. So they've all gone back after Ryan Adams got big and reviewed it after the fact, which is always jaded because they're gonna go in pre-loving the artist and give it those glowing reviews.
That's one thing I dislike about retrospective reviews. You can't base an old album off what you think about.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
You think, okay, I love Ryan Adams, so let me put in, a retrospective review that shows how much we love him.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
And that's what you get so often. The older the album, the harder it is to find real world reviews, unless, like, okay, you want to find Nirvana ones from real time, you can find that.
Right.
But, Whiskeytown at the time wasn't huge. So, yeah, let's see. Stranger's Almanac. I'm looking one more place to see if I can find any other reviews. And yeah, it's just, they're not there. They're all for the deluxe edition. That's all I'm finding. Even now, I'm checking one or two more sources. But, listen to it yourself. Prejudge. Now, I didn't listen to the deluxe edition. I'll say that much because I wanted to hear the original album. But I'll go back to the deluxe edition. I'll give it a shot. But yeah, check it out. It's on Spotify. It's not hard to find, so you can hear it. The vinyl, on the other hand, holy shit, I wasn't gonna pay $400 for this thing, so I played it on Spotify. Normally, I try to buy the physical media if I possibly can, but some of the ones like this that haven't been reissued on vinyl, yeah, I'm not dropping $400 on anything, even if I love it. I don't know what the most I've ever paid for a vinyl album is, but not 400. I know that much. All right. So
yeah, I wouldn't never pay. I will never pay $400 for.
I think the most I paid was for a first pressing of Catch a Fire by Bob Marley and the Wailers. And even that I didn't pay $400 for. I think I paid like 150 and worth it. I wanted a full version of that one. So Ray, how's it going?
I would not even pay. I mean, if I'll go buy an old Beatles album, paint the cover white, and just say I have the white album before I pay. I wouldn't even pay $400 for a white album.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I have, like I said, I think 150 was about the most I've ever paid. And that I paid it for I think, oh my gosh, Hitman's Dreams by No Knife, which is one of the albums I was hunting forever. And we're talking maybe only 500 copies exist of this thing, and I paid about 100 for that. And then the Bob Marley Catch a Fire with the Zippo lighter cover, I just really wanted a copy of that, and I paid like 150, and that was like, oh man, that was pulling teeth. That was hard for me to do. To think 400, I better love it. And it, like you said, here we go. My original copy of the Beatles, I painted it white. It's real. But yeah, I think 150 is my threshold. That's as far as I'll go, and it's got to be something I really, really want for me to even think about it. So yeah, where I stand, never 400. Yeah. Now I'm thinking, like, what is the most I would pay for an album? And I think 150, the most I have paid, is the most I would pay.
It would have to be a moment. There would have to be a moment where I'm like, all right, I will pay it. But there's just no album right now that I think that I could go 400 on. I mean, the White Album goes for more than that. An original pressing and in pristine condition,
and crisp,
obviously goes for more than that. But man, I don't know. I love bands and I love music. I just don't know if I'm willing. I'd probably go 150, maybe 200.
Yeah,
would be my 200 would probably be my limit, but 400, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't.
Yeah, I think I could do 2 if I had to, because the Bob Marley one, I'm very much a completist, and it was the only one I was missing. And I have first printing or first pressings of every Island album, not his earlier stuff. That will cost you a small fortune.
Oh, yeah.
But I have all of the first printings of his Island stuff and like the British pressings as those ones. And yeah, I think 150 was the highest I would go. And that was because it was the last one I needed. So it was that final one. But yeah, I guess our long tangent going in, I wasn't going to drop it, so I only listened to the Spotify one, which you can do too, and it won't cost you $400.
It won't cost you
So
$400 at
check
all.
it out. So what is your history with this band?
Nothing. I when we were doing this, I wanted to pull one
Mm-hmm.
that I just never remotely heard of.
Mm-hmm.
And this was it. And so my history, you know more about Ryan Johnson or Ryan Adams than I do.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just was like, and which surprised me because I do like the alt country,
Mm-hmm.
and so it just was weird that I had never ever heard of this.
Yeah.
I'd never even heard of the band, so
Mm-hmm.
thought it was cool to do one that was out there. So
Going in fully blind. Yeah.
go in fully blind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm in the same place with this one. I went in completely blind. I had never heard even the name Whiskeytown. And then when I started to do my research, I saw the Ryan Adams name.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say I knew anything about Ryan Adams besides the fact that he covered a Taylor Swift album. He covered the 1989 album in its entirety. And in this cover, he kind of reimagined it as a a broody Springsteen, like Nebraska Springsteen-esque, album, and Pitchfork shit on it hard, giving it a 4.0 and said it stripped all the fun out of it. But I can't defend it. Pitchfork might be right because I have not heard his interpretation of the Taylor Swift album. So I don't know.
Now I gotta wonder if obviously he would have had to had permission to.
Yeah. And Taylor Swift did fully endorse it and came out and said that she really enjoyed it. And they did interviews together and everything. So yeah, my little bit of research on him found that, yeah, him and Taylor Swift, they interviewed together. She was all for it and enjoyed his interpretation of the album.
That's cool.
So yeah, I mean, at least she had a good feeling about it. Not, oh my gosh, you ruined my album, because she has to give permission when it comes down to it. And a lot of bands
when
won't.
did he do that? Now that you're talking about it, when did he do the?
Let's see.
I was trying to, because now I want to send it to Amber.
Yeah, I was wondering if Amber's heard it. That was my thought. Did Amber, being a Swiftie, seek out the Ryan Adams one? She may have. It came out in 2000. Let's see. It came out in 2015. So
yeah, she probably has.
So
then.
Does Amber know it? We have to ask Amber. Yeah. Even though if she was tuning in, she could answer us, but I'm sure she's busy right now. We're all busy trying to get ready for the holidays, and for me to get ready to not teach for a couple weeks. So I'm pumped for that. It'll be nice. Get Christmas break. And yeah, Amber, if you watch this later, let us know. Have you heard the Ryan Adams cover, and do you endorse it? More is the bigger question, or
that is the bigger question.
Is it a travesty of your girl? So I don't know. Uncle Swiftie, what about you? Where are you at?
Uncle Swiftie, if you're out there, we want to hear it.
We know you're the man who's the super fan of the Swift, and do you endorse the Ryan Adams cover? I guess I'll see him in a couple days now. Damn, we're that close to Christmas, which is crazy to think. I will see him in a couple days, and I will ask Uncle Swiftie as I hand him the album, so he will not be angry at me again.
Right.
Anytime he comes on the shows to yell at me for not handing him a Taylor Swift album. So yeah, I'll see him. I will hand him the album. I will take a picture of us, and we can put it on the show to give proof that I finally gave him the album as promised. But have you heard the 1989? Do you, as Uncle Swiftie, the one, the Taylor Swift fanatic besides Amber, do you endorse the Ryan Adams version, or is it a travesty of your girl? Let us know. Even if you watch it late, it's okay. Tell us. So now we dig into overall thoughts. So what are your overall thoughts on this one?
I told you, backstage, put me in the happy Muppet chair. This was surprisingly good to me.
Mm-hmm.
this album was, they were going through some stuff, all of them.
Yeah.
Like you went into it in the history of the album and everything, and um but you could feel it. And I don't want to say that's what every band should do. Go through a big old fight and
Hmm.
break. Don't do that. I'm not saying that, but I don't know. Now that you say that, I feel like that's probably what made it so good. Is there was some angst and some,
Yeah.
you could, even in the lyrics, the band's fighting and getting into all heaps of trouble. But I liked it. I liked the tone of the album,
Yeah.
and so I thought it started off. I like, the first song, In Town, is a really good start
Yeah.
to I mean, for this album, because
Hmm.
because it doesn't waver too much. It
Hmm.
does a little. It does a little bit, but for alt country, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And then it finishes. I think it finishes pretty well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. We'll
for the
get to
most,
that when we
yeah,
talk about our tracks. So yeah.
yeah, it finishes pretty well, and um, I don't know. I enjoyed every little song. It's a
Hmm.
ballad. It's a ballad heavy,
Yeah.
and that's okay for, I think, this album. If it would have been another, if this would have, we gone back and we do like Steve Earle, this he's not a ballad guy. He is a rock.
Yeah.
He's the rocker. But I felt like,
Hmm.
and his voice is really good throughout
Yeah.
the album. So I enjoyed it. I played it like 4 times before I finally asked you,
Yeah.
"Hey, is this the album we're reviewing again?"
That's so funny. Oh, that's what happened to me with the Counting Crows and
Yeah,
Jane's Addiction. I was like,
yeah,
did I just cover the wrong album and do all the wrong research? Is this going to
uh,
be like the 10-minute scramble? But fortunately, we were both right. So it
yeah.
worked out.
I was like, yeah, I'm sitting here listening to this. I'm on my fourth listen. Maybe I should double check.
Yeah. I
But no,
think, yeah.
I was moved by that. I was moved by it. I thought it was a good
Yeah.
album.
I would agree. I think it had really strong moments. I think, yes, you can hear the derivativeness in a few of the songs, and we'll
Yeah,
get there when we get to our skips, because a few of them, I was
yeah,
literally, as I was hearing them, I'm hearing the other songs in my head because they're just too closely connected. But I think the strength in this album is in the ballads. I
yeah,
think he's best when he's in that slow speed. As a ballad writer, you can feel the pain, you can feel the heartbreak, and I think it really it worked for me. And I'm very, very new in my world of country exploration. I was one of those staunch, like, I hate all country. I was being too much, too pretentious, and it's opening up to that. Beyond Wilco, I would have listened to them and Uncle Tupelo, because I think
hmm,
it needed to have that bit of rock in it for me to embrace it. But now I can see the alt country embracing that and listening to this. I like what he did. Like you said, I think he has a strong voice, and tension led to something good. It doesn't always, but a lot of times the most tense recording sessions lead to the best album. So this is one of those ones where the tension led to something good. What's Pneumonia? I don't know, because that one was so much tension it actually destroyed the band. Where this one, they were able to walk that fine line of, we want to kill each other, but we still know that it's worth our time and effort.
yeah,
And then by Pneumonia, everyone left, and it didn't even get released when the band was still a functioning band. It got released after the fact, and probably, like I said, because of the Ryan Adams buzz at that time, they're like, okay, let's do this. But this album leads me to want to explore the rest of their catalog and
yeah.
even check out some of the Ryan Adams catalog. So I guess that's the strongest endorsement we can get, is that I do want to hear more. Kind of like last week when we were talking about Susie, we both want to explore more of her catalog, and we'll
Oh
do
yeah,
so next
definitely.
Halloween at a
Yeah,
proper time.
it's true.
So we'll do it. We'll make it timely instead of putting it out in November after Thanksgiving. But that was, who knew we were going to
Yeah,
walk into the perfect Halloween album.
yeah,
All
true.
right.
Yeah,
So let's dig into best song. So what are some of the songs that stood out for
Uh,
you?
the, straight up, "Houses on the Hill" is probably
Mm,
the best song on this album.
yeah.
Uh, this is hauntingly good, and the song is not even about the person telling the
Yeah,
story.
it's in a third person
It's in
instead of
third person.
me and I. It's
Yeah,
this, yeah, the third person. I had that one on there too, and I just
yeah.
said it is just a gut wrenching misunderstanding song that
Hmm.
is like we this is their notebook. Like Houses on the
Yes,
Hill is the
Notebook.
Whiskeytown notebook. It's just, like it's gut wrenching. And April was sitting on the couch next to me when we were listening to it, and she was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. That song is so powerful." And
Yeah.
yeah, just
So
a gut wrencher. So I am
yeah,
with you on that one. I said, yeah, just she doesn't realize that he still loved her, and
yeah,
her life ended up completely disintegrating into this flurry of prescription drugs and pain, and all the while, the misunderstanding is,
yeah,
when we get to lyrics, I dug some out from that. It's like, okay, can I just put the whole song as the lyrics? So I,
absolutely.
I got a lot, but I'm with you on that one. So, all right, what else?
I got In Town. I like In Town.
Hmm.
That's definitely yeah. He he came home and he's not wanted or something. Is how
Yeah.
I felt. Or I wouldn't say he's not wanted, but just a really good song. Great opener.
Hmm. I agree.
Excuse Me While I Break My Own Heart Tonight is a
Mm.
that should be some. I mean, that's some theme songs for some people. But man, that if that song would have been out when I was in high school. Whoo, um, man. And then Everything I Do. Those are my top four: House on the
Okay.
Hill, In Town, Excuse Me While I Break My Own Heart Tonight, and Everything I Do. 16 Days is pretty good too.
Yeah.
I can throw that in there, but it was a little down on the list for me. But and I man, I could sit there and listen to Houses on the Hill
Yeah. That is
over
such
and over and over again.
such a powerful song where we're both sitting on the couch and I'm writing down my notes, and April's just like, "Oh, my heart." So, I mean, but that's it. That's powerful writing. When a
Yeah.
song can break your heart like that, and it's not him. He's talking in that third person, telling the story from a new perspective. I
Yeah.
thought, yeah, that one was on there. I had In Town as well. I wrote it's a great somber opener, and it's creating for me. I felt it's these mixed emotions. He's
Hmm.
going back to this town that he left, and he's saying, "I feel fine for now," but we know the feelings aren't going to last.
Last.
He's there. He's kind of, you can tell he's not there because he wants to be. Maybe he's stuck. Maybe circumstances landed
Yeah.
him back in a place he doesn't want to be. But one of the things I really liked was kind of the subtle vocal melodies that he was doing with Caitlin Carey.
Yeah.
She
That was
wasn't singing a lot, but just the little bits were so beautiful, and I just
just
love that.
the like some of the in the chorus with him a little bit, and then some of
Hmm.
the yeah, just they've met. Like I says, it's brief. It's like a couple of words, but they mesh so well on
Hmm.
their harmonies. And yeah, you're right, man. It's just good opener. Good opener.
Yeah, solid opener. And that's the thing. We've talked about it time and time again. If you don't hook us on the opener, it's going to be hard to get us back later in the album. And your track listing is so important. And I mean, I'm sure every band thinks about it because as writers, you think about your sequencing of events and
Hmm.
how that order is going to really impact your story and make it better. I mean, I know for me, I changed the order of events in my first issue of Immortal Era about 15 times before I was really satisfied with the
Yeah.
flow, because it moves around, and it doesn't follow just a straight line. We jump to different characters and different events, but it took me a lot. And I imagine a band in the same way. It's going to take them a lot, but they definitely got that strong opener.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I had 16 days. I as I was going through, I realized, okay, the quiet songs, the introspective songs are the ones that are really grabbing me. And this
Yep.
one, you're hearing his pain, and he knows he messed up this relationship. And it starts at that quieter, subtler, and it just builds into something stronger and more rocking as it goes on. So I loved that one. Houses on the Hill, we already talked about. That one was there. I like Losering. The thing I liked
Losering was
about it
very
is
good.
it was very lyrically, it had very little lyrics. It was just single words, but those
Yep.
single words brought huge messages where he
I even
knows this relationship is disintegrating, it's falling apart, and he's using these one, two, I think at most 4-word phrases that are just telling a giant story in such a small package. So I liked that one for that. And then I Not Home Anyway, I liked that as a closer. But
yeah.
again, I was definitely more on the team ballad side of this album than I was on the rocking songs.
Hmm.
I thought that these were the ones that had the more distinct voice of him and the band, where the
It
rock
showed his
ones were the more
strength.
derivative ones.
The
And
ballads
then
showed his strength. The ballads
I think
showed,
so.
yeah.
I would agree. And that's why maybe the 1989, if he's doing the Taylor Swift ballads, maybe it is strong. Maybe Pitchfork is wrong. They've been wrong before, but hard to say. But I liked he was interplaying I think he was like dubbing his own voice, but they were kind of the two speakers of the song were kind of speaking at different points. And then during the choruses, they would come together.
Together.
And
Yeah.
I liked that. I liked that interplay that he built between his own voice, just kind of calling himself out with, I'm in this house that I'm alone, but I'm going to pretend that I'm not alone. And yeah, you can see he was definitely dealing with some heartbreak when this album was being created. And then
And
ache of the band wanting to kill each other too.
yeah,
So there was a lot of tension, but that built something great. So, in this case it worked, but it didn't last long. They were a band for 6 years, and then that was that.
that
So
was it.
they
Yeah.
they they lasted 6 years. Reunions, I don't know. I didn't there's a whole book about this band and the full arc of their story, and it's something I'll probably read one day. But yeah, it sounds like the tension got way too strong and we won't see a reunion. So another one in that category of tension was great until it wasn't.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dig into some
Oh,
lyrics. So what are some lyrics that grabbed you on this
let me
one?
pull up my notes here.
All right.
And let me start with the first one is houses on the hill. Listen,
I got a lot of that one.
yeah, I got a lot of that one. I found a bunch of letters. They were written for the fellow who broke your mama's heart, and the envelope folds smelled of her ancient perfume.
Mhm.
That is one of the best openings, and now that you say it, it is the notebook with all the
Mhm.
letters and everything. And I mean, I can go on about it. Eisenhower sent him to war. He kept her picture in his pocket. Just so good, so good. And
Yeah.
then I have from In Town, parking lot, movie screen. I can't feel anything. Cigarette, beat up TV. I can't feel anything.
Mhm.
Like I said, he's in that town. He doesn't want. You know, you said he's there by happenstance, or he can't leave.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to be there. Um, but that whole the first two that I just did there, House on the Hill and the In Town. I think the entire song is
Yeah.
gold. Is gold.
It is. And I
And
got more lyrics from Houses on the Hill too. So when we get
yeah,
into mine, it's I mean, it's just here, the song. There's
yeah.
the lyrics that
And
stand out of that one. It's so powerful.
you talked about losing, and it's it's not a bunch of lyrics like you said, but just losing, patiently losing. I could tell, she could tell everything. I just felt like that was just one night he sat there and was feeling this, and that is he just wrote that down how he was feeling at that moment. It was
Mhm.
like each or every song is a poem in its way, in its own way,
Yeah.
and Losering stood out to me with the lyric wise for the lack of lyrics.
Yeah, less is
But
more in that song, and it
yeah, but
works.
the punch it gives you with those lyrics,
Mhm.
it's man, that was a gut wrenching song.
Yeah, he doesn't need to write, pages and pages of lyrics. The emotion is all there, and the emotion is perfectly powerful with just I could tell, she could tell. So they both know that this relationship is doomed. And
Doomed.
they're just kind of sitting there in the last phase of the relationship, knowing it's doomed and knowing they can do nothing to save it. And it's so strong and so small. And I love that because some of the lyrics, I mean, there's a lot. 16 days, I put some of those ones, and he's saying a lot more, but Losering gives all the same feeling, all the same power with minute words. So I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
So, yeah. Any other lyrics before
No,
I dig into mine? Because
no,
I
you
got a
go
whole
ahead.
bunch.
I
All
know you
right.
got a
So,
bunch.
in town, I put hanging around with the people that I used
Right,
to
used to
be.
be.
So, I thought that again, it's small, but it says everything. He was one of these people, be it a small town. You get that kind of I live in the small town, but I don't love the small town
Yeah,
vibe. And I don't know if you've listened to the new album by the band Wednesday, but it's oh gosh, I should just erase it from my memory so we can cover it for the show because it's so damn
we
good.
can still
It's
cover it.
yeah, what the hell? I make the rules. We make
Yeah,
them. We can break them, and
make them
it's
break them.
just so good. And it's kind of in that alt country vein, but they're living in this small town and just dealing with the unhappiness of being in that small town and talking about the townies. And it feels like this is the kind of town in town is the town full of townies, and he just wants to be out, but he's stuck there. So now he's
Everybody,
hanging around with these people that are him, but not the him he wants to be.
everybody's been there. Nobody in town has ever left.
Yeah.
Is the way I felt.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's ever left. He's the only one that's left, but now he's back and he can't get out again, and he
Yeah.
doesn't want to be there.
And that's why the people he used to be, he's
Mm-hmm.
not them anymore. He has evolved past that and thought he was free, and yet he's not. He's happy for now. Everything is very much I'm okay right now, but
Right
he
now,
knows that okay is going to disappear because everything he sees is just a reminder of why he left. And you can feel that. And I put on my English major hat when I start looking at the
yeah, I
lyrics,
mean,
and
yeah,
that's the best of it. It's like when you start digging in and you think, okay, I could write an essay on this song
yeah.
and what its meaning is. So yeah, it's a great one. I really enjoyed that one. So 16 days, where he says, I got 16 days, one for every time I've gone away, one for every time I should have stayed. You should have worn my wedding ring. I got
Oh yeah,
16 days. And, it's like he knows I messed up. And then he
yeah.
goes on, I got 16 days, 15 of those are nights. Can't sleep when the bed sheet fights. It's way back to your side. So the bed is empty and it's his damn fault and he knows it. So that one, I thought, yeah, that's when you're laying in the bed alone, the sheets start to move to the side, and that's where you get bands talking about, I think, of like Spoon and the ghost of you lingers, and
Yep.
that's talking about that ghost of you. And he talks about ghosts throughout the album, but
All
it's not,
throughout it. Yeah.
the ghosts of this relationship, the ghosts of his love, and they're not going to go away. So um let's see. Oh, Dancing with the Women at the Bar. I didn't love the song, but I thought it had
Had good lyrics.
some good lyrics where my daddy saw the moon, heard the sound of the strip. Yeah, it called out his name. And my daddy saw the moon and heard the sound of the strip. Yeah, it called out his name and it called out his son's name too. So he's talking about now they're just going to these bars, they're dancing with women. And he said, always know my woman's close somewhere.
Yeah.
close somewhere. So he knows his future is out there, but if he keeps dancing with all these women, he's not going to get his future. So you get that kind of, he loves dancing with the women, knowing that his woman's somewhere, but the more he dances with the women, less he's going to get with them. So we can imagine his dad divorced and his dad kind of left him alone, and now it's calling him, and you're getting that repeating of the cycles and those destructive cycles where if he's out there dancing with the women at the bar, he's also drinking at the bar. And Ryan Adams was known for his drinking escapades. So it's this endless cycle of longing for the woman he wants, but the pain of knowing he's not going to get it. So you enjoy dancing with the women, drink yourself into believing it's actually good. So
Yeah.
that's what I got from that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ryan Adams might be like, "You're wrong, sir," but I'm like, "Nah, I can
wrong.
feel it from there. I'm wrong all the damn time, but I feel like this time I got it." So
you summed it. That's a good sum up right there.
all right. So then, yeah, we had the Eisenhower sent him to war. He kept her picture in his pocket. This was the closest to his heart. And when he hit the shore, it must have been a target for the gunnerman. So he dies.
Yeah, he dies.
And then we get to where he is talking about the woman again, because it's all the third person. There were stars in the sky. There were houses on the hill. And there were bottles and pills that were easy to buy to keep her warm from the oncoming storm. So in the song, like I said, I could do the whole song, but don't want to do the whole thing. But he was going to her and was blocked by a snowstorm, couldn't get there, ended up getting sent to war. She thinks he just dumped her and lived her life with bottles and pills. So she was probably not a great woman to be around. Because of this heartbreak, she was never truly happy without him. Hence the Notebook. It's like, yep, he's the Ryan Gosling.
Reminds me of the song "Whiskey Lullaby" by Brad Paisley.
I don't know that one. I'll have to look at that one.
Yeah,
because you get that. It's just she's in this stupor of pills, and oh man, I've met those bitter older people that know that they had that perfect thing, it didn't work, and they're never going to be happy because of it. And you just get that one is like, ooh, grandma's not happy, and that's what you get from that is like he's sifting through these things. He finds them by accident, and it just leads to this knowing that she's never going to be happy, but it wasn't, it wasn't him that, he didn't want to be apart from her. So yeah, you get that. So let's see. Somebody Remembers the Rose. Again, it wasn't one of my top songs, but Honey, I'm Out of Service for a While. Damaged Heart's been manufactured, and every day this one never works anyway. So I liked that one. And then Not Home Anyway was my last one I had lyrics from, where I left all the lights on in our old room to pretend that you and I were home, waiting up for someone, for your boy. I'm not home. I left all the lights on. I'm not home anymore. We're still waiting for, you are still waiting for me in our old room, and you're not home anymore. So it's just that longing and that realization that as much as I want you to be here, you're not here. So yeah, that was my lyrics. I dug out a lot. So I guess that's saying it's good, because as much as I enjoyed the Susie and the Banshees one, it was harder to dig out the lyrics because they were so theatrical and wild, which is great. I loved it, but it's not as heartfelt as you get on this one, where you're just like, you get this guy spilling his guts on the vinyl. So you gotta love that. And even though some of them I love the lyrics, they weren't on my top picks of the songs, but still enjoyed the lyrics.
I like the lyrics, but I'm skipping a couple of songs even with the lyrics.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I could enjoy the lyrics and still say that the song is a skipper, and that doesn't mean, it just means I didn't enjoy the song, maybe its structure, how it was built, but lyrically it can still be good. So what is one that you would want to skip?
I am skipping Turn Around and Dancing with Women at the Bar. It just, they were not my not my favorites. And then I think I had, let me get my notes here. Nope. I think that was it.
Okay.
I was thinking about. I was going to do somebody remembers the rose. But it
Mhm.
just like on my second or third listening, I was like, yeah, it's good enough to stay.
I was
Um,
close. I was on the
yeah,
fence.
yeah,
I
I was on
wrote
the fence.
my first notes were skip question mark.
Yeah,
Then as I listened to it again, I was like, okay, I'll keep this one. But yeah, I had Turnaround on there as well. I thought this is the most derivative song on the album.
yeah.
It is straight ripping the melodies of Love Song by The Cure without the amazing lyrics. Like Love Song by The Cure, you're talking one of my favorite songs
Favorite
of all
songs.
time.
Yeah.
And this one was like, it was melodically, like the melodies were so much Love Song. If we could play here without getting kicked off the air, I would
Oh
play
yeah,
both
you
side
would
by
see the
side and you can hear it. And even April, she's sitting on the couch, she's like, wow, that just sounds like Love Song. I'm like, yep.
yeah.
And you don't want to be doing half-ass of the Love Song, because that is a brilliant ass song by The Cure. And
Yeah,
I don't want to hear your weak, not good versions of it.
and that was my first thought. I was like, why? It just was why would you even you can't do love song. I mean,
No.
what 311 did an all right
Well, I
cover.
like their version, but
Yeah, they're
they modified it. They made it more reggae.
yeah, it was a
And
good cover, but
that was for the 51st dates where everyone was reggae
mhm,
versions of older songs. So it
yeah.
had a reason, but I mean, yeah, it's a rough song to cover. You gotta bring something new, and that one is kind of, it wasn't covering Love Song. Maybe it would have been better if they just straight covered it.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, if you would have just covered it, it would have been easier to like the song than
Yeah.
to copy, and it was just it was bad, and
Yep.
I mean that with most sincerity. It was bad.
That was on my list. And I just wrote, okay, it's too derivative. And I had the other one, Yesterday's News. As
Yeah.
I'm listening to that song, all I'm hearing in my head is Found Out About You by the Gin Blossoms. I'm
Found out.
listening. I'm listening. I'm like, I'm hearing the melody. I'm matching the melody, and that's not good. I shouldn't be able to. So that was a song I heard three or four other songs. So that was one where I'm thinking, okay, when Pitchfork was complaining about the derivativeness of the album, I could hear where that one and Turn Around absolutely guilty of being fully derivative and not entirely original. So those two, I heard the influences more than I heard the song itself. And
Song
as soon as I
itself.
start hearing other songs, that's all I hear. And I can't get that part out of my head. So
I I
those were my skip
I
ones.
kept it, but yeah, I was really, really, really on the fence. But I kept it for the most part, just because it was our. It was not. It was not turn around. It just was not turn around. At least I could see. I can hear it now that you say it. I can hear the found out about you, but turn
Yeah.
around was definitely love song. It just was love song. That's all it was.
Again, I wish I could play a couple clips without getting us kicked off the air, but I'm going to be working on all over Christmas work. I'm going to go and work on some remaster versions of all the shows and add sound clips because I'm not monetized. They're not going to kick me off for it. They might warn me, but as not being monetized, I can add some sound clips. And then if I get monetized, I'll remove those sound clips and
There you
make
go.
like, okay, never mind. Those versions don't exist. But yeah, that's something I want to go through because when we're saying it, if you can't hear it, go in and listen for yourself. Head over to Spotify or Apple Music, whatever,
Apple
wherever
Music. Yeah.
you play your streaming, or Amazon Music, wherever you stream your music. Go and listen to those songs and tell me, do you not hear the Found Out About You? Do you not hear Love Song? I mean, if you don't hear Love Song, you've never heard Love Song. It's
Yeah,
as
you've
simple as
never heard
that.
it.
That one is so absolutely Love Song. It's undeniable. Where I'm sitting on the couch, my first note was Love Song, and then April, not 3 seconds later, goes, This is Love Song by The Cure. I'm like, you are not incorrect.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one, and then the Found Out About You. She didn't catch that one till I told her, and she's like,
Yeah.
oh,
See,
yep,
I didn't catch it, but now that, like you said, now that you say it, I can pull it up in my head.
yeah. Just listen to the melody, and you'll definitely catch it. Because once I heard it, I can't unhear, and that happens to me so many times with the song. Once I hear it, I can't unhear it, and then it ends up being a skipper one. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's Bryan Adams becoming the Fresh Pete band. And this time it's just, them trying to rip off the Gin Blossoms. And I'm not some giant Gin Blossoms fan. So
Oh, I'm not either.
you don't need to be derivative of the Gin Blossoms because I didn't love the original enough. So I don't want to hear a derivative version of it. So I'm thinking stick with the alt country. When he tries to rock, he just ends up being derivative. And that's why Pitchfork stole those points. That's why you got a 6.3. Remove these two songs and maybe Pitchfork would have given you a 7.8 or something like that. So you had a chance to get a better decimal and you failed.
Yeah. Don't ruin the Dewey Decimal for us.
Yeah, come on. Pitchfork could have given you higher. And yes, I keep reaching for the.
I know.
them because my water bottle is normally there. I'm like, yes, you moved your water bottle. It's here now. But I keep bumping the Muppets. So I will eventually learn that this is the Muppets' place and this is where they live along with the
grumpy Muppets. It's our grumpy Muppets.
They need to be here because this is, some shows were there and we were, I think even with the skips on this, I didn't hate them. Where there's some skips where I just vehemently want to have them destroyed and never played again anywhere. These ones, they definitely kind of the skip songs on this were more earning the mega than they were just terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the only one turnaround is the only one we say like, proper done. Skip. You don't even get the mega. You're not good enough for the mega. But otherwise, it's good enough. So which makes it kind of an easy one again. What are we doing with this? We keeping it or are we going to return it to the used bin?
Definitely keeping it. Again, this is an album that even though it has skips, it's still going to be like, if I had bought it, it would be at the front of the list. But it's definitely on my favorites and in my playlist on Spotify now for sure.
Yeah.
And it's just so good, and there's no reason to use bin it. It has its place in the echelon of alt country that we've listened to. So
yeah, and I can say I'm enjoying what we've heard. It all has different sounds to it. I mean, alt country, it's kind of like alternative. It's just too broad of a category. Yeah. Like, oh, they got a slide guitar, therefore it's alt country. Like, all right, it's too big of a category, just like alternative music. Now indie is even kind of overly, it's too big of a category.
It's way too big. And it's like when we were doing, like we talked about our Spotify rap, I was talking with Lorraine. I was like, my wife, I was like, there is dark country, which is goth country. Mm-hmm. I would have not known that.
If you want to make, because it said I listened to 300 categories of music, you got to just make up some random shit like goth country. It's just country. I mean, alt country, fine.
Yeah.
You can have pop country. I can see that because that's kind of, it's pop with twang, and that's very popular. But goth country, come on now.
They did. Somebody did Dragula by Rob Zombie in goth country style, and I was like, I would have never even. That's where I learned about goth country. I was like, what? No.
Yeah, I think of like Amigo the Devil. Maybe that's goth country.
Yeah,
that's about the closest I can think because he sings kind of gothy lyrics. He would be right at home with Susie and the Banshees lyrics, and you can tell he had the influence because he's going to write all these kind of murder ballads and crazy stuff like that and give it kind of a folksy twang to it. So yeah, I guess goth country is Amigo the Devil and others. But yeah, I mean, it's if you want to say I listen to 300 categories, you got to be just pulling stuff at random. Like this category exists with one band and one band only. So
one band, yeah.
Spotify's just working too hard to make you look important. Like, ooh, 300 categories. I have musical diversity, but really it was probably 5 categories. But Spotify just like to lump them all around.
Yeah.
So next week. Oh wait, we did not say we're keeping or returning to the used bin. So easy category. So what are you doing?
I am keeping it.
So am I. Yeah, we kind of established that we enjoyed this, even though it's it's not perfect. It's an easy keep. I would buy it if I could. So I think you said you were doing it. I didn't give my opinion, but yeah, if the vinyl ever gets cheaper than
Yeah.
$400, I'll buy it. When they do a reprint, which, some anniversary, maybe in 2027, it'll be an anniversary and they'll say, oh, it's what would that be? The 30th anniversary? Then
Yeah.
they'll re-release it on vinyl, probably with the deluxe edition, or maybe as a record store day release or something like that. So if it comes down out of the stratosphere of unaffordable, I'll buy it on vinyl. I
I
would
might.
actually properly own it.
I probably would. I would probably go try to see if I can find the CD for it.
Yeah.
Just to have to say I have it in the collection.
Yeah.
I would definitely purchase the CD for it, and not the extended version, but the original.
I guess I get whatever when I got the cheapest, because sometimes
Well, that's
CDs
true.
are dirt cheap. Because I'm looking at the CD, eBay $2.99.
$2.99. Yeah,
The deluxe edition, $3.80 on eBay. So I'll pay another dollar for the deluxe
deluxe
edition.
edition.
But the vinyl,
'Cause it's got like
not.
what?
So here's the vinyl. If you go on there, 284. So a vastly different price for the vinyl as opposed to the CD. And I guess it's less than 400, but still way out of, what did we say? 150 is going to
150.
be
Yeah,
the highest we're willing to go.
if it came down another $75, $80, probably
Yeah,
I would
I,
probably
I, I
purchase
would
it.
be, I'd be at least in the potential of
Yes.
of getting it. So yeah, even this, I'm looking on Discogs and it's well in the hundreds. So yeah, one day when they re-release it for a proper anniversary of something, I will buy it and I'll grab it. Like the Counting Crows that we covered a few weeks ago is finally been repressed, and you can buy it at
Cost
$25,
now.
and I will properly own it now, because I wasn't about to pay the hundreds it was going for, but they've repressed it, and now I liked it enough to own it, just not for
Not
$100.
not about $100. No way.
But now 25, I will definitely be picking it up after Christmas, because on Christmas time, my wife has informed me, you're on restriction. Don't buy anything, because
You-
she's
she's,
like, I don't need to be doubling up what you got.
she bought you something.
Yeah, actually, she's the one that spent $150 for the Bob Marley one
Oh,
when
that's
I got
nice.
it, and she's the one that spent the $100 on the No Knife one, because those were my two most wanted albums that I knew would never get reprinted. I mean, the Bob Marley one's been repressed a bunch of times, but not with the Zippo lighter cover. So
Oh yeah.
I wanted that, and the No Knife one, and it's like, no one loves No Knife besides me and like a small room of other people. So there's no chance it's getting reprinted, because they printed 500 copies to begin with, and they probably couldn't sell another 500 if they reprinted it. But I got my original. I think I played it once or twice because I don't want anything to happen to it. But yeah, that's it. Those are my only ones I've even spent that kind of money on. And I guess, yeah, that's about it. But next week we are going
Yeah.
Christmas, and we are going to be doing Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, our second Sharon Jones album.
Yeah.
All 10 people of you who watched our first one, thank you.
Thank you.
And more people need to know she is badass.
Yeah,
I don't even know this album, but I know it's going to be good, because Sharon Jones is just that damn good. So
You do need to listen to Sharon. If you're out there watching this, she's fantastic. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
we'll talk about the first album we covered when we cover the It's a Holiday Soul Party by Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. But yeah, I implore you, if you do nothing else, go ahead, listen to Stranger's Almanac, but better yet, go find any Sharon Jones album.
Absolutely.
Listen to the Christmas one first, so that way you can talk to us about it. But yeah, I'm excited for this, because I trust Sharon Jones not to give us a clunker. So we'll see.
We'll see how it compares to our
Jethro Tull.
Jethro Tull, yeah.
Our pirate dance party.
Oh.
So will I get a pirate dance party? I doubt it, but
I wonder if when you just did the song one last week, the Christmas, did you talk about the Jethro Tull on there?
We didn't. I stuck more with that, but I did say, yeah, when we did that There was a Jethro Tull song that needed to go, that New York one. I forgot its name. And then there was the Gordon Lightfoot Christmas song that had to go. Those were the two that were just terrible. But we kind of I let it go with my songs that I've heard now, some of them 26 times at our Christmas performances, because I realized when I was there that this was my 26th Christmas, like elementary school Christmas performance, and some of the teachers have never changed the songs. So
you gotta
I've heard them enough.
You gotta change the songs, people.
Come on, you don't understand. 26 times for me, that's a lot, and that means 26 times for them easily, and then multiply that times all the times they've had to hear the kids practice it. So please, here's if any one of my teacher friends are listening, here's my begging of you. I implore you, pick something new. Even if you pick the same song, find a different version of it.
Find a different version.
Like one of my colleagues does Sleigh Ride every single year, and I found this really cool ska version of it, and she started doing the ska version. So I'm like, all right, cool. It may be the same song, but it's the ska version, and by the Toasters. It's good stuff.
Now we need some dark country version of
Where's the alt country version of Sleigh Ride or whatever it may be? Because please pick new songs. That is my public service announcement, because all of us that have been teaching for many years and hearing the same songs, give us a break, please. Maybe Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings have a good version of one of these songs, and I will throw it toward my colleagues next year. But they're probably just like, you know what, this is easy. I know the song. I don't want to have to think about it, because we got enough things to think about without over stressing about a holiday song. But next year will be 27 times I got to hear the same song. So please, I beg of you, new versions. Doesn't have to be the new song, new version, or I will find a new version for you, like I did for Sleigh Ride, because I was teaching with her. She was commenting a lot. Janice, who was commenting a lot during our Wicked episode, and I found new versions of Sleigh Ride. So at least you can keep doing Sleigh Ride. I will find you a new version, and she was open for it. So at least there was that. So
excellent.
We'll see. But I know the truth is I'm going to hear all those songs for the 27th time. And yes, that's next year me. That's next year me's problem. I'll stop worrying about it right now. All right. So we'll be back next week. We will not be live, but feel free to comment. Let us know your thoughts on the album. Check it out beforehand so you can let us know your thoughts. We'll maybe even comment on our own show and see what happens. I don't know if we can show the comments, because it'll be, if I'm on the internet when the show is airing live, I'll probably be strangled by my wife, and I'll be the one singing about the ghosts in my house and the empty bed. So therefore, I will not be on the internet when our show's airing next week. But if you are, feel free to watch and enjoy. And if not, watch it after the fact. It'll be airing on Christmas Eve. And I'm going to assume it's good. I don't know. But I'm putting my high hopes out there, because I'm hoping Sharon Jones didn't phone it in. But in the meantime, we will be back live on Saturday. Dash is going to be joining me on Saturday Morning Comic Talk. And we're talking all Christmas movies and Christmas specials. So this is our Christmas. We did our Christmas song version. We're doing our Christmas movie version. And then our last show before New Year's, we'll do our resolutions for the year. What are you hoping to accomplish? So I still have spots open. If anyone wants to join me on the 27th to talk about your 2026 ambitions, shoot me a message and I will have you on.
Give me a spot.
All right. So Dash is on. So we got Dash, and we're going to be talking about what are we doing in 2026? We all have big plans. How much of those plans will we make? Because when you're publishing indie, it's easier said than done. I'll simply said that. That is the biggest thing. There, you can have great ambition, but you know what? If you put one book out, you're amazing. That's all I have to say, because nothing is easy in this world. And if you do any of it, hats off to you. So we'll see you Saturday, and then we'll see the pre-recorded versions of me and Dash. We'll see you on Thursday next, or on Wednesday next week on Christmas Eve. So have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you on Saturday.
See you on Saturday.